Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Not a game. We talking about practice.
We thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Decide a different need. I'm coming. I'm flat out coming.
It's my quarterback. And if you guys do that, man, it's unfair.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. William D. Morgan. I'm not on camera tonight because I don't feel like messing with my green screen, but I am here. I have two of the best gentlemen in sports talk radio with me. First, let me go ahead and bring in my co-host, the man who knows baseball than I ever will. Let me bring my man 7 in. 7, what's going on, bro? How you doing tonight?
Hey, I remembered to unmute my microphone this time, so fuck you, Ando. Hey, man, I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I can't complain, man. Didn't feel like messing with my green screen tonight, so I am here. And I also am finishing up a fantasy draft.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, I'm finishing it up right now. Damn, I can't select the quarterback now or running back now. What am I stuck? What the hell? Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah. Now, I got to finish with a kicker. All right, great. Zero line. Here you go. There you go, buddy. All right.
Leg.
Red leg, yeah. Yeah, but this team's not looking too bad. I went with the Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor combo. Figure I can get it back up in free agency.
That's not
Nico Collins was right there for me in the 5th round, so I went on and took him. I also ended up with Marvin Harrison Jr. falling to me. I was sort of kind of shocked by that. Had to take the Cowboys defense, which is disappointing, but it's still a decent defense. They should be top 5.
Defensively, Cowboys are always a safe bet. At least for the most part. It's usually their offense that screws them over.
I got a couple of auto picks that I had to go through. I ended with Jackson Smith and Jigma from the Seattle Seahawks, which is fine by me. And then I also got a guy who I was going to take anyway in Jalen Warren, so from the Steelers. So I feel really good about that. So this team should give me maybe an A+ B grade on ESPN. So we shall see. But let me go ahead and bring in the other gentleman of our motley crew this evening. Let me bring in my man Ando. Ando, what's going on? How you doing, man?
I'm just going to start out by doing this. Good job, 7. Good job. Love it. I heard what you said about me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I am number 1. Will, sounds like you got a really good draft this year, man. Good luck to you, and I hope you win your fantasy league, man.
Thank you. I named this team after one of my favorite ESPN guys. I named it the Mike Clays. So we'll see how this does.
Let's go.
We'll see how this does. I didn't pick up a backup quarterback. I didn't pick up a backup tight end because I figured I can get those guys through free agency during the season. So
Anthony Richardson is, I think, who he said.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson.
He can't pick as long as he stays healthy.
Yep.
And that's the hard thing about him is there's so much potential in that kid, but can he stay healthy? And that's a bad question to have on a guy on a rookie deal.
Oh yeah. Bad, but I figured like this. He gives you the rushing upside. He has weapons he can throw to. He's got Jonathan Taylor there. I've got him right behind him.
Is it a PPR league?
Yes. Half-point PPR.
Yeah. As long as Anthony Richardson stays healthy, that'll get you 15, 20 points a game.
Oh, yeah. I think I can compete. Most definitely. All right, let's go ahead. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to get you caught up on the world of baseball. Also going to get some football talking, how we think our teams are going to do this season. Also, we're going to talk some college. And has Dabo Swinney lost it?
Yes.
With the Clemson Tigers, with that loss to the Georgia Bulldogs, they got the doors blew off for them.
We're when we talk about it, man, because I got something to say about these old coaches and the way things are changing in college sports.
All right. So we can go ahead and get started with our 7th inning stretch. Let's go.
I want to be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain, I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints.
All right, 7, what you got, bro?
I saw a video this week. It was Nick Castellanos, the legendary Nick Castellanos, in an interview. And the reporter asked him if he was to be made MLB commissioner for a day, what he would change. And his answer was very indicative of our lead-in topic today. He said that players, coaches, team staff, they all get owners, players, coaches, team staff, they all get punished if they don't perform. They can lose their jobs. But currently in Major League Baseball and in professional sports in general, there is no punishment for underperforming as an organization consistently. And he said that he would change it to where if they didn't meet certain expectations in a certain amount of time, that they would have to make way, sell the team at market value. Can't force them to take a loss, but at market value to make room for an owner who is more willing to invest in the product because players and fans deserve better. So it should be no surprise, given that lead in, that we are going to be talking about the Chicago White Sox. The Chicago White Sox are on another losing streak, having lost 11 in a row on their current streak. They also have another record with this loss. This is their 20th straight loss in which starting pitcher Chris Flexen started the game. This is an MLB starting pitcher that has lost 20 straight games. And Trevor Bauer can't even get a fucking phone call.
That's a shame.
Yep.
It's bullshit. Chicago, it's the fucking A's all over again.
Yep.
White Sox fans deserve better than the shit that fucking owner, Jerry Reinsdorf, is putting on the fucking field. Because ultimately the buck stops with him.
Go wrong there. I don't want to do that one. Let's go to.
And I can't believe that the league is not intervening in some way in the shit show that is going on right now in the South Side of Chicago.
Yeah, considering what they had a home game last week where they had like 27 fans, 27 at a Major League Baseball game.
Does Jerry Reinsdorf not realize that the average citizen of Chicago is suffering enough having to live in that fucking city? The least he could do is put out a decent baseball product.
Yep.
Agreed.
I don't understand it. How can you have an organization that, as long as you invest in it reasonably, you can basically print your own money?
Look at the A's, man. The A's this year started off really trash, and they're 60 and 78 now with a win over the Mariners today. They're playing better baseball than I think anybody expected them to.
Here's the thing about the A's, though. The A's had the talent.
Yeah.
It was just shitty ownership that didn't want to make a deal that made sense for the organization and the city. He wanted out of Oakland.
Yeah. It's
just like that evil Valley 90s looking bitch in fucking Major League.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Am I wrong? She just wanted to move the team.
You ain't lying.
That's all it was. And now we have, speaking our resident White Sox fan, let's bring in the expert on the Chicago White Sox, as well as drinking way too much. John Ambrose is with us, everybody.
Ambrose, what's up, man?
Hey, I might follow the White Sox and drink too much, but what was the third thing you said?
He got the two most important things.
I got the two most important parts.
What's up, Ambrose?
What's up? How we doing? Long time no see, guys.
We got Chris Flexen losing his start today. 20th straight loss by a starting pitcher. You know the game as well as I do, man. When have you seen somebody not lose their job with this bad of a fucking streak?
Detroit in 2000, early 2000s, like 2001, 2002. Mike Maroff lost like 25 games.
Was it? But it wasn't consecutively though, was it? He would get a
Oh
win.
no, it wasn't consecutive. He just had a really bad year.
Yeah, and that's the thing is this is consecutive, man. Like and they're on another 11-game losing streak. Like, when is enough enough?
At this point, when Jerry Reinsdorf dies.
Fuck Jerry Reinsdorf.
Like, you can't really do much. The guy, he doesn't want to compete. He wants to save money. He doesn't really care.
I don't get the honor of owning a professional sports team. You don't even invest in it.
The sad thing is that they're losing ground to the Cubs, and you're looking at like 120 years of baseball history there. They're probably gonna, once he dies, they're gonna move.
That's the next team.
I don't think they make it before Reinsdorf dies. I think Reinsdorf sells the team. Next 5 years, we are talking about.
Reinsdorf won't sell the team because Reinsdorf has TV rights in Chicago. The new owner won't have TV rights. Reinsdorf owns a superstate who's partial owner
WGN.
of WGN.
Networks like
I don't think that comes with the team when he sells it. So whoever buys them, I would probably say, because they do have a loyal following, I'd take them. I'd give them a fresh start. I wouldn't change the name. They'd stay the White Sox. I'd move them to like Indianapolis. That way you're far enough away from the Cubs to have your own identity, but the people that really want to see you are only about an hour and a half away, and they can still make the trip if they want to.
What? Okay, so on the counter to that, what if you revive a former city and you say you take them over to Montreal and you use that to bring back the Expos?
If the economy was good, that would be viable. But
is Montreal having
you're not going to want one. Montreal has a huge problem. Montreal has a huge problem because they're a francophone city.
Okay.
And they've always been a francophone city, and that was the problem last time. And that's the same reason why the NHL isn't returning to Quebec. I mean, you have French Canadians are very picky, and I don't think, as much as I'd like to see a team return to Montreal, I think MLB treated that team so poorly. I don't know if the fans would come back. I think it's kind of like an NFL and St. Louis situation. I think it's just like good riddance. Like, we're done.
I've heard rumors actually St. Louis is vying for another team. They have enough of a fan base in St. Louis. Even up in Nebraska, people in Omaha want a football team back in St. Louis.
The problem with St. Louis getting a football team is they won't happen until they get another stadium, because that's why the Rams pulled out before.
Mm-hmm.
So
the stadium was so ugly it wasn't even appealable on TV. It looked like a warehouse.
It was so bad.
It looked like they were playing in a Home Depot.
Now, the bright side I will say about that is the XFL's Battlehawks have enough fans in that stadium that if they can get the proper rights and build a new stadium, they have the fan base in St. Louis to do it.
It's St. Louis has a fan base. I'm not disputing that. Okay, so back with the White Sox, it's my thing is, if you're going to move the organization, it needs to be in something that's still going to have a positive impact to MLB's economy. And the issue with Indianapolis is the economy in Indiana is as bad, if not worse, than the issues the economic issues that they deal with in Illinois and Chicago specifically. So you're almost trading one rough environment for another. So if you're going to move the team, it almost makes more sense to find a city that's going to have a much more consistent economy. So maybe that is where a city like Salt Lake City.
What about Omaha?
Well, the whole appeal.
Omaha's close to Kansas City for a small market. There's a lot of money in Omaha, but there's not a lot of people. And that's
the whole reason why those teams like being in the AL Central is, aside from Kansas City, all of those teams are about 2 to 3 hours from each other. The traveling is extremely easy. The other AL Central owners are not going to like a White Sox move to Montreal or Omaha, or they're going to want them to stay in the area. Now, what I think is going to happen, and it's going to be a 6-year process. MLB has told Milwaukee that they need to fix their stadium. I think what's going to happen is the owner of the Milwaukee Brewers is going to balk. He's going to move, and the White Sox are going to move an hour and a half up to Milwaukee. I mean, I think that's the scenario that's going to play out.
But the problem is where do you move the Brewers?
The Brewers will go to Salt Lake City.
Yeah. Because the NL Central is a lot more spread out than the AL Central. The AL Central, those owners want to be close.
The thing with the reason why Salt Lake City is such a hot topic and an interesting market for sports teams right now is because throughout the fluctuations in the economy, basically in the interstates, in the landlocked part of the country, basically from the you've got your coastal states, outside of them, everything in. The economy is actually much more stable the more central to the U.S. that you get.
Yeah.
Because it takes so much longer for stuff to reach there. A lot of that is farming communities, so their money isn't dependent on things like tech.
They'll get a football team too. Salt Lake is one of the fastest. It's one of the fastest growing cities, and more importantly than that, I've been to Utah before. That state has money. They make money off of tourism. They make money off of everything. And people joke about how the Mormons control the state.
Not as much.
The Mormon church is worth billions of dollars, and they will invest in the community if a sports team is coming in. And
with the Mormon community, there's a lot of love for local sports. There's a lot of love for community within the Mormon base. And, a lot of love for, 6 wives and some of them being kids, but we don't talk about that. They love community. And so, and sports teams are good for community. Bring the community together.
And they're amicable. Yeah. They're getting the Winter Olympics for the second time, and I've never seen a team get an Olympic. I've never seen a city get an Olympics back so fast.
Yeah,
and then getting the Winter Olympics back for the second time in like 20 years
because they can dump money into making sure that the facilities are right, and they will continually invest to make sure the facilities are right. And that's why they will get a baseball team. They will get that's why they got the Phoenix Coyotes, and that's why they're going to get an NFL team because the money is there. The money isn't in Chicago, honestly. And I hate to say this, but based on and I see this because of working in property insurance, but the city of Chicago is starting to deal with a lot of the same issues that the city of Oakland is dealing with, that are why the city of Oakland lost all of their teams.
Well, also the problem is with the way the money transfers now and with how everything works economically. The White Sox are really the last neighborhood team. The era of the neighborhood team is dead.
Oh, sure.
And they're the last, they're the Southsiders. They take pride in being on the South Side, and they're the last neighborhood team. You don't have the Brooklyn Dodgers or the St. Louis Browns or any of those other neighborhood teams anymore. They're the last dinosaur. And the Cubs, they won the World Series for the first time in 88 years, and no one cared. Everyone was pretty much just like, "Oh, that's great. When are the Cubs going to do it?"
Well, but with the Cubs, it's crazy to me, despite the reach and the value of the organization that the Cubs organization has, they are still considered a small market team. And outside of the White Sox, they're one of the most iconic teams in baseball, especially for the Midwest.
Well, there are a lot of problems that led to the White Sox being in the position they are today. One, Reinsdorf wanted to get rid of all things Bill Veeck when he bought the team, and Bill Veeck gave that team an identity. He had the shenanigans. It was a fun place to go. Comiskey Park was a party. It was a party. It was a party when Bill Veeck owned that team. You had Andy the Clown running around shouting at people. So you had they tore down Comiskey, which was a blow, but new stadiums come and go. The bigger issue, and they should have stuck to their guns the way the Cubs did. When they realigned to Eastern and Western divisions, the Cubs knew going to the West would kill them. It was their fan base would not stay up till 10 to watch games, and the Cubs fought to stay in the East, and they pushed the Braves, I believe, to the West in favor of the Cubs.
Yeah, and
the White Sox should have done the same thing, because they got put in the West in the American League. So 81 of their games are coming on at 10 at night or 11 at night, and no one's watching.
And they didn't get out of the West until what was it, the 90s?
They didn't get out of the West until they went to the 3-division format.
Yeah. And it's sad to see a team that's such an iconic part of baseball that is in just such shambles. Like, one of the four remaining teams that had one of the initial charters for Major League Baseball, just a fucking Dollar Tree of baseball teams.
Yeah, and it's kind of like watching. The Tigers had some rough years, but it wasn't this bad.
No,
it was not, and the Indians obviously had some really bad years, but it was not. This is like watching a train wreck.
And even the Royals went, what was it, 30 years? Yeah, because it was 85 and 2015. 30 years between World Series wins. But you still had some, they had George Brett didn't get a single thing with him. I know Brett Saberhagen was on that 85 team, but
yeah,
they had some iconic players that, Jermaine Dye couldn't win with Johnny Damon.
They at one point had Beltran, Damon, and Dye in the outfield.
And couldn't win a damn game. I lived in Kansas City in that era. That's, but at least there was investment. The park was always good. It was still, even when David Glass owned the Royals, it was still at least a watchable product for the most part.
Well, that was a culture that was instilled, and there are very few owners that are like Ewing Kauffman. Ewing Kauffman saw it as his civic duty to deliver a baseball team to Kansas City, and he kept that culture. So the culture was, a team belongs here, and I'm going to do what I can to keep it here. And then, David, Mr. Walmart bought him.
David Glass.
Yeah, and it kind of went downhill. He fired Tony Pena. Which I don't think was a very good decision. But they had, even the Orioles, there's little glimmers of hope when they're having these bad seasons. This is a team, it's like watching the apocalypse.
They were a playoff team in 2021, and they are just complete garbage now.
And if they made the right trades, they could have been a playoff team last year.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
well, with the A's, their issue was just the issue about the ownership. There was talent on that team, and you can see it now. Like I could see it at the beginning of the season. There was some solid talent there. It's just there was those issues, but you could see that the talent was there. You're not even seeing the flashes of talent really right now with the White Sox, and it doesn't make sense. These guys are professional athletes. There should be something there.
And this is why the NFL passed Major League Baseball in popularity, because it all starts at the top. When the Giants were having their problems, and Tim Mara Sr. died, and Tim Mara Jr. and Wellington were feuding, and the team was imploding, and fans were walking away, Pete Rozelle called them in and said, "This has to stop. I found the guy. His name's George Young. He's going to be your go-between. He's going to run the team. but we cannot have our largest market be a joke.
Right.
Where's the commissioner on this? The commissioner needs to call in to Jerry Reinsdorf. He then say, the league office backed you during the strikes. The league office backed you during potential work stoppages. We placated your every whim. You need to deliver for us. You need to step up to the plate now.
There's owners like him and fucking Ken Kendricks in Arizona that caused the issues with the last strike with Major League Baseball, and them trying to keep the split is in favor of the owners if possible and take more money out of the players' pocket when they've already been screwing the players over for the last 100 fucking years.
Reinsdorf is the sole reason why the 94 season was canceled. And they had multiple deals on the table, and Reinsdorf would not sign a one of them. And he kept that strike going until they couldn't play anymore. So he really just, he got, I don't think he was even a very good NBA owner. He got lucky because Jerry Krause built him a good team and Michael Jordan slipped to number 3.
Yep.
He got lucky.
And that's the hard part. And and I think it's stuff like this that's hurting the growth of baseball. And that's the part that frustrates me. And I know we're going to be moving on to talk about other stuff here shortly because we have gone a little bit long with this.
You're fine.
The thing for me is this is hurting baseball as a product, and it's stuff like this that caused me to believe that the NHL will overtake baseball as number 3. Because right now it's the NFL and then the NBA and then Major League Baseball.
The only reason the NHL has not taken over baseball is because it doesn't appeal widely to a black audience yet.
It should.
Once they can figure out how to connect with a black audience, and they've made strides. They have like hockey in Harlem, and they have a lot of inner city programs where they're teaching kids how to play hockey. So they're going to get there, but it's widely regarded as a white sport. And that's what's holding it back.
Damn. The last thing I will say, if you are like me playing fantasy baseball and have been waiting for Fernando Tatis Jr. to come back from injury, he started today. He is back. So get your fantasy lineups adjusted. If you were like me and he would be back in time for this playoff race. I know I'm actually 3rd in my baseball league, fantasy league right now. It's the best I've ever done in fantasy baseball. So him coming back right now is hugely helpful because I've got like 6 guys on IR. It's crazy.
All right, everybody. The next thing on the docket I did want to talk about, I did want to bring up some NBA. We did have the NBA schedule come out for 2024. We got some good opening week matchups that I wanted to discuss. Let's go ahead and get on to this with the hardwood.
All right. The dick is missing.
Yeah.
It says hardwood with the dick, and there's no dick.
Yeah, we're going to do an episode of After Dark tonight, and I don't even know we're going to do that. He's running behind me again. So we'll see what happens. I don't know.
All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Tuesday, October 22nd, first game on the docket, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on TNT. We got the Knicks and the Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics can make some noise. The Knicks can make some noise with this. If they take that game decisively, not only does that ruin the return of the NBA champions, but if you can set that expectation and put the league on notice, that would be a really good tone setter for the Knicks to start the season because they need to do something this year.
I think it's a really good choice because that's a classic rivalry that's kind of died off because the Knicks suck.
Agreed.
And it's true. But like in the 80s and 90s, that was a great rivalry.
Yeah.
And if the Knicks are on the upswing, so if the Knicks can come out and at least be competitive with them and not get blown out, it's strategically it's really good because you're going to try to reignite the New York Boston rivalry in the NBA that goes across all sports. And I think that's a really good move to make.
I also agree. I think I think all sports should follow what the NFL do. Your first game, your opening game, should be the game where your champions are playing at home, unveiling the banner. I like the idea. I don't know of another team that I would put up against the Celtics. Maybe the Heat, but I think the Knicks are a better idea to go with.
That's the one thing the NBA doesn't really do that I hate. They don't emphasize the rivalries. Yeah. Like the Knicks or against the Celtics, maybe the Lakers against the Celtics. See,
as I was saying, the Lakers Celtics would have been the other good choice to open.
Well, the Lakers are the other team that play because I'm with Will. I actually have the schedule here. After that game at 9 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Eastern,
10 p.m.
It's the Timberwolves and the Lakers.
Why the Timberwolves?
Who else would you have put?
And that's irrelevant. I mean, you could almost do Lakers and Celtics at that point.
You could.
Or I don't know. No, I'm not. No, I'm sorry. Lakers and Clippers. At least have it be some kind of a rivalry, something to because
bill it as the Battle of LA.
The Battle of LA. You've got
and you could have done it in
matchup. You got your East Coast matchup. Now grab your West Coast matchup.
Yep.
And
you could have done
make it interesting. It's not to hate on the Timberwolves, but that's too small of a market for opening night. I'm sorry.
Could have gone Lakers at Clippers because the Clippers are playing at the old Forum now. So,
that's interesting. Yeah.
And then you can have a rivalry with the New Orleans Pelicans. They can scrimmage. Because no one even knows they exist.
All right.
I don't know.
Right.
Did you see Zion's improvement? Zion looks like he's in great shape.
Well, we'll see if he can stay there.
Fair.
That's the question with him. All that entry-fair and all that gumbo. We'll see if he can keep that up. That's tough, man. I got family down there. I've been to see him. That food down there is amazing. Smells like I swear to God, it smells like sausage and rice. Every time when you go to New Orleans, bam, it just hits you. And the first thing you found the best restaurant ever.
I'd love to see New Orleans get an MLB team, but I don't think they're a big enough city.
The second night on the docket, Bucks and Sixers. The new look Sixers, by the way, Paul George.
I don't.
What's the new look?
They got Paul George now.
Oh, new look. I thought you meant like new uniforms. So I was like, why would you stray away from red, white, and blue? I don't get it.
You got Tyrese Maxey, you got Paul George, and of course you got Joel Embiid, who needs to recover from that sorry ass Olympic performance he had.
We did not. I'm sorry, guys. I know this is a hot take, but we did not deserve that gold medal.
The way we played, man, if it wasn't, look, Bron did what he was supposed to do. KD did what he was supposed to do. Steph Curry came up big the last two games.
LeBron was not the MVP of that tournament, though. I mean,
I don't think he was either. He should have went to KD, but that's just my opinion.
KD or Steph.
She just went to KD or Steph, one of them. But we're gonna see how that team looks. Then the second game of that night, the Phoenix Suns versus the Los Angeles Clippers.
Why? Again, this matchup doesn't make sense.
I don't get it
for your opening slate. You have a easy rivalry matchup: the Suns and the Mavericks. Because Luka Doncic is fucking Devin Booker's daddy for some reason during the regular season. That is an easy game to sell. The Suns and the Clippers, really?
Yeah. I mean, I also think if they're doing this and they're making it a big opening weekend, I think they should be gravitating towards their legacy teams. Like Philadelphia should be playing someone like Detroit.
Here's the no. Not this Detroit team. That the Detroit team we got right now is terrible.
But you know where I'm going. Like
I see where you're going with it. If it was traditional and they were good, I got you.
Or Milwaukee.
Yeah. Thursday, October 24th. This is gonna get y'all even worse than the other one. The San Antonio Spurs go down to Dallas on the 24th of October at 7:30 p.m. I don't understand outside of Wemby, I don't understand why you're doing this. I really don't.
It's because of Wemby that they're doing.
Gotta
it.
be
It's
between Wemby and Luka.
Yep, that's it.
Gotta be.
But that's not a. I don't fucking understand. Adam Silver normally. I expect better from Adam Silver than this.
Yeah.
I just.
Then later on that night at 10 p.m. for the other side of the doubleheader on TNT, OKC Thunder versus the Denver Nuggets.
Denver should be playing Salt Lake City. I mean, Utah.
Either Denver should either Utah or Denver and the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Because Wemby and Jokic is a much more interesting matchup to sell to me. Personally.
All right. Next day. Next day.
You don't even have the Warriors playing anybody?
Nope. Friday, October 25th, the next night, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. We got the Pacers versus the Knicks.
I like it.
All right.
Yeah, we can deal with that. Game after that at 10 p.m. Eastern, we got the Suns at the Lakers.
That's a better matchup.
So wait,
It's a rivalry matchup.
This is kind of bothering me. The Warriors escaped Oakland. They're playing in that beautiful new arena in San Francisco, and they're not getting any TV. They're not getting any notable TV time.
Steve Kerr pissed him off, probably.
Probably so.
After his shitty coaching job at the Olympics, you're like, "Fuck your national TV time, you dickhead."
Probably so.
To be fair, though, the first two games that the Warriors play, they play at Portland, who is an up-and-coming team on the 23rd. And then on the 25th, they play at the Jazz, who is another bad team. So not exactly marquee matchups that you would start off the year with the Warriors. If the Warriors were playing like the Celtics, the Lakers,
something like that,
Bucks, I think it'd be a better matchup.
Steph is the best shooter in the game. And home run, chicks dig the long ball. Chicks dig the three.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chicks dig the logo shots. Chicks dig the shit he does before the game's just fucking around. That's more amazing than anything you or I could ever fucking do.
Yeah, I could just see like Adam Silver in his office with Steve Kerr, like reaming him out like Tony Soprano. Like, you almost lost the gold, so shut the fuck up and go talk about politics or how much Trump sucks or whatever the fuck it is you do.
All right, and then Saturday we got a quadruple header, I should say. Saturday, October 25th. I don't have NBA TV, but it's going to be the Clippers at the Denver Nuggets at 5 p.m. Eastern. Then we got the Orlando, and then at 8 we got the Orlando Magic at the Memphis Grizzlies. How the hell Memphis get playing?
It's in Miami.
Nope. No. Orlando versus Memphis.
Yep.
How in the world, outside of Ja, because I'm not going to sit here and disrespect Ja Morant when he's not poking a gun around.
Yeah.
But go back and look at
the other way around with that.
But go back and look at that team. That's Ja's the only person on that team that can create his own freaking shot.
Yep.
And so you saw that last season, and then the injury history didn't help because everybody was sitting on the bench with the coach. Everybody was hurt.
Out of curiosity, what's the big one's the Christmas game? What do they have lined up for Christmas?
I gotta look that one up. But real quick, on the 26th, you got the last game on the night for that Saturday. You got the Kings at the Lakers. I can deal with that.
Your Christmas matchup games this year start off with the Spurs at the Knicks on ESPN. You got the Timberwolves and the Timberwolves and the Mavericks at 1:30 on ABC. Then you got the 76ers and the Celtics.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like that lineup for Christmas, man. You got to bring the big guns in.
Okay, Lakers and Warriors to finish it off. That's not a bad.
There's one more. There's one more after that, and that's the Nuggets and the Suns. So they got a 5-game.
Okay, that's also the Nuggets and Suns is that's a rivalry game. So that one I can tell you. So those last two are
I
decent.
mean, at least they have big market teams playing.
Yes, but wow, this is.
Well, it's fair to say that the 76ers and the Celtics are rivals too, especially both of them trending in the direction that they're trending. And it puts Paul George against the Celtics.
I think one of the problems with the NBA right now is they could be doing so much more to get fans, but I think they're relying on analytics more than they're relying on logic. I think they need an old school guy in there to be like, no, do it this way. And I think they have young guys who think they know better than everyone else making these schedules, and it kind of hurts them in a way.
Well, another thing too, I didn't want to talk about, and I put this in the group chat when it happened, but we were off air. Steph Curry signs a 1 year, $62.6 million extension with the Golden State Warriors. First of all, I just want to say, damn. Not that he doesn't deserve it, because he does. But damn.
That's
1 year?
That's my question. Why is it a
1 year?
For $62 million?
That's why I brought it up. 1 year.
Extension to see what else you can give him? Like, why 1 year?
I don't know.
That doesn't make
I mean, unless you anticipate he's going to be on the way out. And I can't see that because he's the face of the franchise.
LeBron's probably, come on, I want another ring. Come down.
You're going to
have to read.
LeBron. You're going to have LeBron, Steph, AD, and Bronny in LA for one season, and it's going to be the weirdest fucking thing to have to market for the NBA because they're not going to have that.
I don't know, man. Karl Malone on LA was really weird. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember when Karl Malone was on LA, and you're watching it, and you're like, this.
So that team went to the finals before everybody got hurt. Yep. Team went to the finals against Detroit. Everybody got hurt and they lost.
Yeah, that was like a weird era because like Clyde Drexler and Charles Barkley were Rockets.
Don't forget.
That team was done because you had Clyde. Clyde got that one. Mm-hmm. He got that one with Houston, and then after that, I mean, you had Pippen, Barkley, a lot. I mean, that
lasted one season.
Yeah, and that was one season. 3 old dudes playing on the same team. I mean, but there was another extension today. I don't know why they did this. They gave this money to Paul George. Zubac from the LA Clippers agrees to a 3-year, $58.6 million extension. Here's my thing. Why wouldn't you pay to keep Paul George? You kept Kawhi. You even signed James Harden back, which makes no sense to me.
But here's the thing, and what Ando asks a relevant question. First of all, did Paul George want to stay? He probably could have especially with the issues that they've had in LA with injuries of fucking Kawhi.
True.
And everybody else being fucking injured all the time and him having to carry the franchise, but he doesn't get to be the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
That is a relevant question. Yeah. But how do you not instead use that money to bring in another big name rather than paying fucking Zubac?
For one thing, James Harden is an asset to any team because I know if I'm on a team with James Harden, I'm hiding my Coke in his beard. That beard probably smuggles a lot of drugs onto the plane.
But also, and this can't be missed. If James Harden is on your team, you will know very quickly where the best strip club in town is.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's. I mean,
I think he team up with Lou Williams every other week trying to find the best strip clubs everywhere.
Hey, where's that HGTV documentary? Like you got diners, drive-ins, and dives. Where's the James Harden strip club one? Like
that's what we need right there. There's how Michael Jordan had that documentary. We need the James Harden.
I don't know, man. We need to write. We need to write. What's the network that does like 90 Day Fiance? We need to write them and have them put that together.
Hell yeah! I want to know. James Harden's best strip clubs of America.
Pornhub's
the Learning Channel.
Pornhub's going to give James Harden an NIL deal and try to do a strip club documentary series.
Fuck that. It'll be Brazzers. Brazzers will do it.
Yeah, James.
Brazzers, yep,
Yeah,
Brazzers will do it.
I don't think James Harden is above being like cast as a strip club owner in a new Grand Theft Auto game.
James Harden's will be the first one to like represent Brazzers and Pornhub on his uniform. Yeah, I'm sponsored.
He'll have the patch and everything on both sides.
Yeah.
This one is the Baltimore Scores. Shout out to my girls there.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of women, do you guys hear that the Indiana Fever are above 500 for the first time this season?
Yep, I saw that earlier. Yep.
Yeah.
Poor Caitlin Clark having to carry those girls. Like that's.
Did you see that Chicago got another flagrant foul against Clark?
Dude, and that was fucking blatant. Dude, I watched that video like 10 times.
Blatant as hell. I saw that.
So fucking blatant.
Yeah.
Blatant as hell.
You know, the conspiracy theorist in me is saying that a lot of this, I'm not saying it's scripted, but a lot of it is kind of like play rough so people are talking about it.
Another thing I want to bring up too.
Because we've got okay, go. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Ambrose. Another thing that makes me upset too is the fact, is Angel Reese as good as Caitlin Clark? No. We've already seen that. We've already acknowledged it. But don't say that Angel Reese doesn't have any talent at all.
Oh,
no, it's just from certain points on the court she has the accuracy of a stormtrooper.
But to get in favor of Angel, he's a forward.
Yeah.
Her job is not to be on the perimeter. Her job is to create havoc on the defensive boards and play interior defense. Now, the one thing I will criticize Angel Reese on, he needs to develop a better mid-range. Give me a baseline. Give me a free throw line.
Every player, she doesn't practice foul shots either.
She needs to get better free throw
shots.
My issue with her is she takes, we'll say, 16 shots inside the paint.
Yep.
She makes 5 of them.
Yep.
But she gets 12 offensive rebounds off of her own miss. Come on.
She needs to get better when it comes to shooting a basketball from distance.
But I do have to say, though, that this criticism of her, it's a good thing for the league.
Oh, absolutely.
Because people talk about it. I would also like to point out that she's a rookie, and there were a lot of players that ended up in the Hall of Fame in the men's league that sucked as rookies. Patrick Ewing was atrocious as a rookie.
He was. Coming out of Georgetown, he was.
And
Dikembe too.
Even with the women's game, the women's college basketball game is different than the WNBA, than the pro game. So there's going to be some adjustments. Yes, Caitlin Clark has statistically adjusted, I think, better. And I think as an athlete, as a face of the organization from jump, like she has handled it better. You can see that she has fun at playing the game. She interacts with the fans. Like, she's already what you would expect out of a pro athlete for the most part. And Angel Reese definitely has some time to grow. But my issue with the whole thing is the WNBA is not marketing the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark rivalry like they should.
They're not doing enough of it.
I think a lot of the problem is
I agree.
I think with Angel Reese too, Clark got a lot more attention because she came out of a smaller program and people were taking notice of this kid coming out of Iowa.
Right.
Angel Reese was just another person coming out of LSU. And it's kind of like so you don't prepare someone like that. You're just another person coming out of LSU. Shaq went to LSU. Like, we don't, it's so,
well,
I mean,
it's the same for LSU's women's basketball program, though. That's my question. Like, is the standard for LSU's women's program that much higher than the standard for Iowa's? Because, like, I really don't watch much women's basketball as far as the collegiate level is concerned until the tournament. But I also don't watch a lot of.
I don't know definitely, but I do know that those fan bases in the South, LSU, Auburn, Alabama, the people live and die by those schools.
Fair.
It is unlike anything you've ever seen. There's even families where like your kids are born in Alabama and you either wrap them in crimson or you wrap them in Auburn blue.
Well, y'all wait.
Like,
Y'all wait. You went up here talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. I need to go watch USC. Watch Juju Watkins play. When she comes into that thing, she's gonna blow it up. She's gonna blow it up. She is fantastic. She is great.
I saw some clips of her last night. She
is awesome, and she's gonna blow that thing up, man. And then you're gonna get a lot of these players in the WNBA back from injury. It's gonna be interesting.
Now, hopefully they can keep this momentum going because now the league's not really a joke anymore. People are talking about it seriously.
Yep.
So they've got to invest some money in, and they've got to get someone that can market.
Well, and
they've got to get someone that can keep the momentum going, and keep people interested.
One of the things that will help the women's game is the new rights deal that the NBA signed, because part of that did include the new rights for the WNBA, and so they're getting like a four times increase in revenue just off of TV deals. So obviously that means more money for the girls. That means that you're taking the NBA has much less of a financial risk in the league at that point because of the money that's coming in, even with the fact that you're going to be paying the players more, especially once they get their own new CBA. So if you're the NBA, now you can turn around and dump more money into marketing because you have less of a risk on the financial side. You're still subsidizing
everything. This is a business,
right?
And it was a wash 1 or 2 years ago, but now there's enough to get your attention and say, okay, maybe I can put a couple more $1 million into this and see where it goes.
And also, I think one of the other benefits of this is going to be because of the fact that there is more of a financial incentive. You're going to have more owners or ownership groups interested in funding an expansion of the WNBA, which can really help expand the market reach that they have. Because if you can add, say, 2 or 4 more teams, ideally, I think for their size, because they have 12 right now. Is it 12, 16?
Yeah, it's 12.
12?
Yep.
Okay. So you have 12 teams right now. You add 4 more. That's 16 total. That's a solid jump for the league. That's even more revenue that you're getting because of the fact that you now have 4 more markets you can go into.
They need young, vibrant owners. They need people like Mark Cuban.
Yep.
100%. They need people to come in. Mark Cuban took a joke franchise and gave them legitimacy because he came in, he really was interested in his team. He built it. He got involved with the fans. He worked and built a good product out of a team that was a dud for 40 years.
Yep.
They need people like that to own WNBA teams now.
And this is where you appeal and you market to these guys that are getting rich off of influencer money. This is where you go to Gary Vee and you say, hey, you want to own the Jets? This is how you start to get to there, because you take $200 million, which just is an arbitrary amount. You take $200 million and invest in getting the WNBA expanded, your team, and helping with the expansion of the rest of the league. And you give him some financial incentive. The WNBA owners behind their back are going, look, we're going to make sure you're getting something out of this. And you get a guy like Gary Vee. You find a couple of the other a couple of the other younger influencers that
even someone like Elon Musk.
Musk wouldn't do it, but like Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast would be.
He's in a lot of trouble right now. I don't think
he's in some YouTube trouble. Yeah,
exactly the reason to do it.
Yeah,
Ninja.
Yeah,
Ninja, or one of these guys that's a basketball influencer that doesn't play the game. Kevin Hart. Jay Stu. Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Get somebody like that to throw money at this and expand the WNBA, get into 4 more markets. Because
you're right. Tom Brady wants to own a team. Call Tom Brady up.
Because you need a franchise in Florida. You got to put a franchise in Florida.
I guarantee if you'll let a WNBA team come to Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes will drop the money immediately.
Agreed.
I think it's kind of interesting. ESPN, not ESPN. NBA 2K25 came out with a rankings list of the top 100 WNBA players. Caitlin Clark right now sits at number 11.
She's a rookie. She'll earn a higher ranking soon.
Oh yeah.
So with the talent that's in that's honestly, I don't hate that position. I mean, she probably should have been in the top 10 because of the marketability of having her in the top 10, but you don't want to force it either.
Right. The only thing that makes me upset, and I get it, it's media, it's what we do, it's what we talk about. I got that part. The only thing that makes me upset about this is the fact that what Asia Wilson is doing is getting undercut. And that's the only thing that pisses me off, because she is having an MVP type season. Brianna Stewart's playing well. You got some ladies who are doing some real work. And they're being undercut in terms of media attention because of what's going on with Caitlin Clark, what's going on with Angel Reese. And
unfortunately, if to quote Yogi Berra, if the world was perfect, it wouldn't be. And and let me throw an anecdote out there.
Yeah.
Ransom Olds pretty much invented the car in America. He founded the first company with Olds Motorworks, later on Oldsmobile. He invented the concept of the assembly line, but he didn't know shit about marketing. And Henry Ford completely overshadowed him in automotive history. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. I'll just let y'all know Angel Reese is right behind Caitlin at 12. So on that list. So just to let y'all know.
And honestly, that's the thing is, I can't give Angel Reese credit for garbage time triple doubles, just the same as I refuse to give Russell Westbrook credit for garbage time fucking triple doubles.
You said Westbrook.
Until the day I die. Until the fucking day I die.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody about Westbrook earlier, because they're talking about like top point guards. And, it's like, what does it take for Westbrook to surpass CP3? And the thing of it is, the only thing that Westbrook's got to his credit is right now he's a better defender than CP3. But in their prime, I'm taking CP3 all day, because Westbrook, nobody wanted to play with him.
So I have a question.
Oh hell no!
No.
What does LeBron James teach his kid first as far as playing in the pros go? How to flop?
No,
or how to actually play.
Don't call me daddy when you with the team. That's what he's got to teach him. Don't call me daddy.
All right,
daddy, I'm open. Don't call me daddy.
All right, son, here's some soccer games. Now watch, okay? This is what you have to do when you need to draw foul.
He'll probably put a tape in of Lottie Divac taking every charge and flopping. That's what he'll probably do. That's what he'll probably do.
Okay, you see this fish? You see this fish flopping up and down, gasping for air? That's what you need to do, kid.
No, I'm just playing around with these StreamYard settings, this default camera crap. That's not too bad.
That's not bad.
I like that one.
Daddy, Michael Jordan never did that. You're not my son anymore.
Or this one here?
No, you're going to Orlando.
I ain't doing that. No.
My head's too big for that circle.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I appreciate the fact that it gives you the new StreamYard gives you options.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's get into the NFL. Then after we get into the NFL, we'll go ahead and talk about Dabo, Swinney, and the Clemson Tigers, and then we'll get on out of here for the night. So let's go ahead and get this thing started with the huddle.
If Dan doesn't show up.
Seven, I know you had planned on talk about it tonight.
If Dan doesn't show up, do you want me to fill in for him?
No, we'll reschedule it, but I'm going to have you guys. We've talked about we want to have you on soon. I will. I don't do that show without Dan. That's a rule that he and I have.
That's more than fair. I just thought I'd offer my services.
No worries. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Niners wide receiver Ricky Pearsall was shot the other night. Shot in an attempted robbery. He is back with the team.
Yep.
He has been placed on the non-football injury list, so he'll be out at least 4 games. But the biggest thing to me is the fact that he's safe, he's home, he's healing. That's the most important thing. It's the player, not the game.
Yep.
Yeah, that long snapper is a shitty teammate. To when your teammate gets shot and you make it about politics. Like, you know, I wasn't a fan of that.
No, and there's a time and a place for that discussion because, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about on After Dark tonight. You know, there's a time and place for that discussion because it was a 17-year-old kid that shot him, tried to rob him over a Rolex watch.
Where was it?
In San Francisco.
It was in San Fran? All right.
Yeah, and so there's a lot to unpack with that. But for him to make it about that right off, that's just the dumbest fucking thing that you can do. Like when during the Black Lives Matter, when it was at its peak and all the protests were happening and people are talking about it, like, well, white people get shot by police too. Yeah, we're not talking about that right now. Like, let's pay a fucking attention to what's actually going on right here.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't make any sense to me.
It just really reminded me, it bothered me, and it reminded me of Kurt Schilling. It's like you made it about you.
100%.
Your teammate got shot in the chest, and you made it about you.
Can't agree more, man. Fucking Kurt Schilling.
Yep.
Nope.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad he's home.
Sure.
He's safe. He's going to be on the mend for those 4 games. Then he'll be back. A couple other things I did want to talk about tonight when it comes to the NFL. We got 2 Chiefs fans in the building. Are you guys excited about possibly signing Leonard Fournette?
Oh my God, you guys are Chiefs fans? Can you show me on the doll where they touched you?
Right here. They touched me. Right here. Right
Oh,
here.
yeah, right.
Oh, tell me where the NFL touched you. God, tell me.
7, you forgot this. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh. I need the flaps to open up. I need the flaps to open up. Oh, I'm sorry.
You know what? I would be. I'm going to start 7. I'm going to say I would be more inclined to be excited if I knew we had our full array of running backs, knowing that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is on
the NFL. Yeah, he's on the NFL list too. Mental health issues. We're gonna, if we have After Dark tonight, we're gonna talk about that.
I think him, CEH, and Pacheco would be an amazing 1-2-3 lineup. A running back by committee, I think it'd be amazing. I don't think it hurts us by not signing him. I like the running room that we have already, but that type of leadership doesn't hurt.
One thing in regards to their running back situation that I really liked that I read today is they aggressively pursued Josh Jacobs. And he said he could not sign with them because he spent his whole career hating them and he couldn't sign with the team that he hated. And you know what? That goes back to what Al Davis used to say, once a Raider, always a Raider.
Yeah.
And you know, I was like, damn, Raider culture is back.
Yeah.
It is. And I think that you guys have Antonio Pierce to thank for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's what I actually like that we got P. Ryan over Leonard Fournette. I don't hate Fournette. I don't hate him. If we hadn't gotten, and I can't say his fucking first name correctly, but if we hadn't gotten Samaje Perine, if we hadn't gotten Samaje Perine, then Leonard Fournette would have been a nice second choice. But I personally lean towards Perine because of just I've watched more of him play, and I like him more as a running back than I do Fournette. But it wouldn't have sucked if it had been Fournette instead.
Yeah.
Honestly, how much are you guys going to run, really? You have the best wide receivers and the best quarterback in the game.
Most of it will go to Pacheco, but we're going to save him. So P. Ryan will probably be who they use in short yardage and third down situations.
And he can be in the Jarrett McKinnon role.
And and that's correct.
Maybe Taylor Swift will suit up.
Damn.
No, she's drawing that play. She's working on the coaching staff. Don't worry about her.
Look, Travis will do a little squiggly line, and then Patrick will throw it to my man. You saw that TikTok, right?
Yes. Oh shit! Yeah. But and the fucking interview where Patrick Mahomes joked that Taylor Swift had drawn up some plays and they may have put one in the playbook.
Yeah.
I saw that and I lost. I was like, that is fucking beautiful just to mess with the trolls. Because you're just, oh no, Taylor Swift brought a place. Oh my God, Mom. Like,
Classic Kermit Mahomes.
Dude, did you see that the guy who made fun of Patrick didn't even make the team for the Raiders? And Patrick is going to keep that as
he was a seventh rounder anyway. He probably wasn't going to make the team.
He was probably just having fun.
Yeah. And you're dumb enough to do that and draw media attention as a seventh rounder, bro. You're gonna get the foot on any team, not just for flirting with fucking with Mahomes.
I mean, honestly, Antonio, and I don't think Antonio Pierce really likes that type of culture.
No,
I think he wants to put it on the field.
Yep.
And I think that guy knew he wasn't going to make the team because I'm pretty sure behind closed doors Anthony Pierce was like, "Don't ever fucking do that again."
I'm thinking another thing too. We got week 1 coming through. And week 1 coming through, we got Ravens and the Chiefs. Week 1. Now, do you guys think Lamar would look at this as a revenge game?
If he doesn't, he's an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah, he has to.
Wait, who did the Chiefs play week 1?
Chiefs play Thursday night to open up the season against the Ravens.
So that's
I think Lamar looks at it as a revenge game, but I just don't.
He has to.
I don't think the Ravens. I don't think they're on the Chiefs' level. I just don't.
And here's the thing: there are so many people that are going to overvalue the run attack of Baltimore.
Yeah.
The thing that Kansas City actually does best that doesn't get talked about enough is that Kansas City is actually really good at stopping the run.
Yeah.
And we can talk about the fact that they've got Derrick Henry now, but go look at what Derrick Henry has been allowed to do against Kansas City's defense, specifically against Steve Spagnuolo.
Yep.
The numbers are not great for Derrick Henry. And now we'll get to find out on Thursday if that's scheme, because obviously he didn't always have the best offensive support around him.
Right.
But I think Derrick Henry spends more time on his ass than carrying the ball.
Yeah.
So going to another topic, if we can.
At least in this game. At least in this game, 7.
In this game. As a whole, I think Baltimore has a fierce running attack. In this game, I don't think they get more than 100 yards rushing collectively.
No. If Baltimore is going to beat Kansas City, it has to be Lamar through the air.
Yep. And you're not.
I don't see it. I don't see it happening any other way. The front 4 of Kansas City is healthy. The linebacking core is still strong enough that they can help the front 7. The Kansas City defense, because they lost Janarius Sneed, is going to be where Baltimore has to take advantage. And I don't. They lost OBJ. They still have Mark Andrews. They have Zay Flowers. They have to lean on those 2 guys to make an impact to force Kansas City to take people out of the box. You keep 7 in the box, Henry isn't going to run.
Going to another topic because my ADD is kicking in. Do we know what the uniforms are going to look like for the Brazil game?
So the Eagles are wearing black helmets, white jerseys, and black pants. I don't know if the Packers have announced anything with what they're wearing. I know it's going to be yellow helmets and yellow pants.
They're doing everything they can to squash as much green as they can on that game, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. One last thing I do want to go ahead and talk about before we get out of here. The Clemson Tigers got the doors blew off them by the Georgia Bulldogs. The doors blew off. Dabo Swinney gets upset. Is it time for Dabo Swinney to come back to reality about his football team?
I think Dabo Swinney is another. I mentioned the last dinosaur earlier. Dabo Swinney hates the concept of the NIL. He doesn't use it. And I think he's going to be on his way out.
That's what Saban left, I think.
Yeah, it's no, and that was exactly going to be a point when I alluded to the top of the show.
Yeah.
The old style of coaching in college football is gone.
I mean, personally, I hate the NIL as it's presented. I don't think universities should pay the students. I think the students should have the right to. I think the students should have the right to earn. I think they should be able to sign autographs and do appearances and be paid the same way a music student gets to be paid by a record company if they intern.
No. Colleges, universities, especially these big FBS and FCS schools, they are making millions of dollars a week as a school for their college football program.
And I do understand that, But at the same time, how are the borderline universities like your Arkansas and your South Carolinas, how are they going to compete with Notre Dame?
But that's up to them to recruit, though.
It is up to them to recruit, but and there should be regulations on it. And this is the NCAA's fault. The state
because Notre Dame and USC could just field pro teams.
Yes, you're right. The state of NIL right now is, but we have to remember the state of NIL right now, as it sits, is completely the NCAA's fault because they didn't get ahead of it and allow it and control it from the beginning. They had plenty of opportunity, starting from the Supreme Court ruling that college athletes are employees and not just students and need to get paid, and opening up everything that we know as NIL now.
I mean, I'm not against these students getting paid, but I think they jumped into it, and it needs to be regulated. There needs to be borders. There needs to be clear-cut rules, because it's going to open the door to corruption.
Yep.
And like I said, those borderline schools are going to suffer. Those schools with programs that are good, but not on the level of Michigan, are just going to drop down to nothing.
But corruption is already here, to be fair. I mean, look at the recruiting violations up in Michigan.
Well, but the recruiting, the scouting violations in Michigan, like there's a lot to unpack with Michigan as a whole right now. Jim Harbaugh left because he knew he was about to get banned for 4 years anyway.
Same with Pete Carroll when he was with SC.
Yep. But the thing of it is, the NCAA failed college sports as a whole, by not being ahead on this and and refusing to back down on paying players when this was a hot topic in the early 2000s.
Yep.
Well,
in the early 2000s, if you create the NIL stuff and you set salary caps based on the levels of the different programs across the FCS and the FBS schools, if they had done that then, when they should have, because like half the reason that the NCAA football game stopped by EA Sports was because the players couldn't get paid, and so their likenesses couldn't get used. NCAA couldn't.
Yeah, but the players' names were never in the game. I mean, the players were on the cover.
You could upload the rosters for it. Somebody took the time to create
it. But even the player that was on the cover of NCAA couldn't get paid for it,
right?
Because of the way the NCAA as a whole was.
Look, I've never ever liked the way the NCAA has conducted business. I think they're worse than FIFA.
They are.
I think they're the fact that a basketball or a football coach can just do violation after violation after violation and bail without punishment, but they punish these kids that had nothing to do with it.
Right.
When the team gets the hit. I mean, it's like everything they do is ass backwards.
The way that the Penn State athletes were punished with the Joe Paterno case. Those athletes didn't fucking touch those kids.
Yeah.
Those athletes were, in documented cases, were trying to speak out about shit that they saw that was off and were forced to keep quiet.
Mm-hmm. I just think that
NCAA just punished the kids more.
I just think that these Dabo for some reason hasn't adjusted to what this is, because you have these kids, and you can make the same argument with Dion to a certain extent. The old ways of coaching don't work with modern players.
I agree. I'll be the hot take on this and say, look at who Clemson played week 1. They played the number 1 team in the country. I don't know if it's his coaching style is out. I will agree they played a much better team. I would say give us 2 or 3 more weeks and see what we got before we make the coach, before we make the assumption that the coach is done. They kept it close. They kept it close for what, a quarter and a half?
A quarter and a half, yeah.
I think he's a traditionalist. I don't think he likes the NIL. I think the writing's on the wall. I don't think he's going to go past this season.
I don't want to rub salt in the wound. You're a Florida State guy, yeah?
Yes, I am.
To the end of the season if it continues.
True.
You know, and I think the way he sees it is he's doing it his way. They fire him, they got to pay him.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you know,
he lost 2 national championships under his belt.
Yeah, he's a college football Hall of Famer. I just don't think he likes the direction that the NCAA is going in, and I think I think he lost his way.
Everybody's got to adjust, and we'll see if these old school coaches can adjust to the new school way of coaching. All right, let's go ahead.
Kind of like when the American League introduced the designated hitter, and the old school managers like Billy Martin were like, "This is fucking stupid. My pitcher's batting."
You're on mute, sir. You're on mute, sir.
What's fucking stupid is having a guaranteed out every trip through your lineup. That's fucking stupid. But, you know, that's just me personally.
Wait, I didn't know I was playing baseball.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap this puppy up for the night. And what you got going on this week, man?
Fighting a cough, as I was constantly on mute tonight because I didn't want you guys to hear me hacking up a lung. I got work tomorrow. Off Wednesday, Thursday. Gonna get my computer / desk area cleaned up. See if I can get my super cards to work. Maybe do a little bit of streaming this weekend on that. Well, my weekend. My weekend is Wednesday and Thursday because I work during the weekends because my job sucks. What? I didn't say that. Then Saturday, I'm going to do my best to be on the Geek Gauntlet podcast with our boy Will up there in the corner. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch.
And TikTok.
And TikTok.
Yes.
And then I'll be back next week for Sports Reports podcast.
Ambrose, what you got going on, man?
I'm taking the kid to Disney in 3 weeks, so work.
Nice.
Work.
Wait, Ambrose won a championship? I didn't know he was going to Disneyland.
I wasn't supposed to tell you because your mom wanted to keep it a secret.
Going for the low-hanging fruit, huh?
Oh yeah, she does.
But God, my mom doesn't watch the show, Ambrose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if things go well, you can start calling me Dad.
I mean, she already does.
7. Come on.
I'm sorry. That was low hanging fruit.
You left it out there for him.
Fruit, man. Come on.
You left it out there for him. That's the thing.
Fair enough.
What you got going on, 7?
Working on TikTok content. You can check me out at FGD7 on TikTok. Do a lot of mental health stuff. Going through my 30 Reasons to Live series. Really good series. I'm actually seeing a lot of feedback on that. And
it's good stuff.
We're going to be making some changes in a few weeks. There is a chance that we are going to see not only a sports report, but on TikTok, but also my podcast, First Generation Dad. Will and I will probably be bringing that back in maybe a month. We'll see. And that will be on TikTok as well, along with the YouTube channel that I've created but never used. Just getting things going through that stuff because that's what I want to do. It's
Here we go.
I know selling insurance sounds glamorous, but it actually sucks big fat donkey balls. And so I'm hoping I can find something that I enjoy a little bit more.
As someone who has entered the glorious world of selling insurance,
yes,
I can tell you I love being told to go fuck myself about 6 times a day.
Hey, I get
You've also got a humiliation kink then, I assume.
Yes. And last but not least,
fine. Don't take the insurance. Die.
And last but not least, it is I got to work tomorrow. Then I'm off again on Wednesday and Thursday, like Ando. So it's going to be a good week. Maybe gonna move on from there. So if there's nothing else, I want to say thank you to everybody out there in TV land for joining us for the Sports Report podcast. We'll see you guys again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Have a good night.
I've missed making fun of Ando.
Fuck Rob Manfred.
Eat a dick, Ambrose. Eat a dick.
Fuck Rob Manfred. Fuck Jerry Krause.
Do I look like your mother?
Fuck Jerry Ryan Stores.
Leave my mother out of it.
I can't. She's got the lip.
We'll see.